Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents, got a little bit of our stylistics talking about breaking up and making up. As of late, you guys have probably noticed that I've been talking about several different topics, especially the headlines. I was just going over something and I decided I wanted to share this. A lot of people have been mentioning things like that they have a cure for AIDS. Now, I find that to be, at first when I heard it, I don't want to hear that junk. They got a cure for AIDS, they got a cure for AIDS, how come they ain't using it? Okay, that was my altitude, okay? But, okay, let me explain how I believe that they actually do. If you guys remember, there was this poster boy. Michael Jackson said he shouldn't have been a poster boy for AIDS. Ryan White. Remember young Mr. Ryan White dying at the age of 18? He was a hemophiliac, did a blood transfusion, contracted AIDS, and lived for about 11 years and then succumbed to the disease. Then you got Arthur Nash. Arthur Ashe, tennis player, dies of AIDS. Liberace dies of AIDS. Remember when people first got AIDS, anywhere from 6 months to 2 years was their time frame, and it looked horrible. The legions and legionnaires, does it? No. But anyway, all the little different stages that they went through back then, that is not the same thing today. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because I do logic. I don't do anything else. Everything has to be logical. If it doesn't make logic, it doesn't make sense. And I really strongly stand by that. Have done so since 12 years old, 13 years old. Around the age of 13, that's what I came up with. Ladies and gentlemen, they have what's called a drug cocktail. Logic tells me that what if, and I'm only saying hypothetical, hypothetical, oh, it's a compound word. That's right, it's compounded by you stop interrupting me. All right, hypothetically speaking, if they have a drug cocktail that is supposed to be designed to prolong individuals' lives, what if, hypothetically speaking, what if the drug cocktail is just enough of a particular drug to not cure it, but just enough to not let it progress as fast as it normally would? What if the cure, Magic Johnson, what if the cure diagnosed with AIDS? What if the cure fully diagnosed with AIDS? What if the cure? Anyway, let's do that. I'm interested, ladies and gentlemen. I assure you, now that I bring it up, I thought about it last night and I let it pass through my mind, but many of you guys weren't watching basketball in the late 80s and early 90s. Many of you weren't even old enough to be watching basketball, still sitting up there in diapers, smoking on Similac, okay? So I ain't talking to y'all. Hey, I do millions. Drew Hill. So let's do this. I just typed in me Jack Johnson. And of course, what you mean I ain't connected? Of course I'm connected. Talk about, we're gonna have to do this in the background, y'all. I'm gonna have to put y'all on pause. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Just had to correct some things. That's not how you spell diagnosis, at least I don't believe, but that's the best we're gonna do. After a physical before the 1991-1992 NBA season, Johnson discovered he had tested positive for HIV, the disease that causes AIDS. In a press conference held on November 7, 1991, Magic Johnson made a public announcement that he would retire immediately because nobody wanted to get scratched by somebody who's got AIDS. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. 20 years after the HIV announcement, Magic Johnson emphasizes, what are you? What are you? What are you? I am. What are you? What is the name? Okay. 25 years. He did 20-year anniversary. And, now, we got to be clear. We got to be clear. He did not test positive for AIDS. He tested positive for HIV. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a big difference between AIDS and HIV. But nonetheless, individuals who have tested positive, see, this ain't got no problem. This is PBS. But that should not be happening because I got signal and everything. So I got to put y'all on pause again. Sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, it turns out it isn't my internet connection. There seems to be a problem with PBS. Okay, we're doing a Drew Hill moment right now. We're going to do the ABC. If we still have the same problem, then that just means I'll have to restart the web browser. But again, there's nothing wrong with my internet. It was PBS that was having a problem. And it's probably because that particular article is probably in HTML and it's not there anymore. Big medical advancements seen 25 years after Magic Johnson's AIDS diagnosis. Again, he wasn't diagnosed with AIDS, but because that was the problem back then. When you said AIDS or HIV, everybody automatically jumped to AIDS. One disease leads to another. AIDS comes from HIV. Okay?
Taco. Are you one of the millions of
Give
Americans
that man
living
that
with a taco
taco
obsession? My $3 taco deal with 3 of the tacos
Hey, that's
you love,
Jack in the
and a
Box. Some of you
refreshing
guys ain't
drink.
never heard of
Try
a
my
Jack in the
$3
Box or a
taco
crack in
deal
the Box.
too.
I'm sorry.
Taco.
Anyway,
Taco.
well, that's what we used to call it.
25 years ago today, Magic Johnson held a press conference and told a room of stunned reporters that he had tested positive for the virus that causes AIDS. Johnson
See, the virus that causes AIDS.
Thanks to advances in medication.
But still needs to be done, much needs to be done. Health specialist Denise Adore takes us back to that historical announcement.
I think sometimes we think, well, only gay people can get it, only with...
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You gonna sit up there and have a news conference where you say only gay people, you, Isaiah Thomas? Are you kidding me? You gotta be kidding me. Kissing each other on the court, you gotta be kidding me. I'm sorry. Magic Johnson, Arsenio Hall, Isaiah Thomas, who is it? Eddie Murphy. These were the group that hung around each other all the time. There was another one, and I can't think of his name, and he played with the Detroit Pistons at the time. See, I can't think of his name, and that's a shame. But they were all known to have these relationships with each other. But shh, don't tell nobody. It's a secret.
It's not going to happen to me, and here I am saying that it can happen to anybody.
And at that time, it was considered to be almost a universally fatal disease.
AIDS and cancer.
Did you hear that? At that time, it was considered to be universally fatal. That's right, 6 months, 2 years, that's it. That was the lifespan. Everybody who got it, automatic death. That's why nobody wanted nobody playing no basketball court where they could get cut, get bled on, because you can only get AIDS through contact of bodily fluids, like blood. So NBA players were like, what if he gets cut? What if the blood get on me? I ain't getting no AIDS. That's why he said he was retiring immediately. However, here's the point. He went and got medical treatment. Then, next thing you know, he ain't got HIV no more. No, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that it's in remission. He simply don't have it no more. He had it, now he ain't got it. That means somebody cured his disease. Interesting. Okay, so now I see where the other people were getting it from because now I've had time to think about it.
Researcher Dr. Alexandra Levine remembers thinking how brave Magic Johnson was to come forward.
How brave he was to come forward? He wasn't brave. He had no other choice. He was trying to beat the cart before the horse got there. Okay? Because if that would have gotten out, and rumors were already starting to shiffle and shovel back then, if that would have gotten out, oh God, he would not have been able to stop that rolling rolling train. Hold on.
She says it wasn't until 1996 that the combination of antiviral drugs became available. In that year, the death rate dropped 80%.
It took a little bit of time. It took the money. It took the will of the country to go in that direction.
It took the will of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what it took. It took them coming up with a way of breaking down the drug combination to keep people sicker for longer so that they could keep people buying that so-called drug cocktail so that the pharmaceutical companies can make their money. They had to come up with a way of providing those drugs to people to prolong the disease, not cure it. Give them just enough to get a taste. You know, like a crack dealer. Oh, no, your first hit's on me. All right, that's a courtesy hit. Okay, that's what they were doing. But you don't believe me? Listen to her.
And it took the strength of the advocacy community to make it happen.
Johnson tweeted out his thanks to his many supporters, including physician Dr. Michael Melman, for breaking the news to him 25 years ago. In that time, researchers have been working to find a cure. Dr. Levine and her colleagues at City of Hope are investigating what role stem cell transplants might play in tricking HIV.
We're trying to cure that infection by manipulating the stem cells in such a way that they will be resistant to HIV if they see that virus.
Today, AIDS is treated as a chronic disease managed by a cocktail of medication. But 25 years later, Dr. Levine says the best medicine is still prevention.
The virus seems to be transmitted more.
Wait a minute. How come they're not talking about Magic Johnson? What'd he do? Is he in remission? Is he taking a drug cocktail? Of course not. He doesn't have it anymore. He's been diagnosed as being disease-free. Imagine that, huh? Sitting up there looking just as big as Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. I mean, they all must be eating at the same restaurant. Warehouse. I'm kidding, all right? But that's what I was thinking about the other night. Sometimes I just think. And it's all right just to think. Here is the rule in Puerto Rico. If you think too much, you go crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not possible to think too much to where you go crazy. It is possible to think so much abstractly that you lose connection. Is that your problem? Did you lose connection? I got one finger sitting in the middle of my hand to show you how much of a connection I've lost. Why don't you go ahead and grab it, hold on to it, and put it in your ear and wax it out, okay? Anyway, I apologize. He gets on my nerves. Just keep coming in and interrupting my conversation, okay? But it is ignorance. I choose to take the moment, take the time from time to time just to think. For instance, let's get rid of her because I don't know what she got her mouth open for. Okay, does she look like one of them alien creatures, or she just saw something that just shocked her? Okay. Oh, she's looking in the mirror. Okay, my bad. Anyway,
right now,
get out. Shut up.
Without any
shut up.
Doubt at all.
Shut up.
Young people.
I'm trying to shut her up, y'all, but she didn't want to shut up. Shut up. All right, already. Again, that's why I say I do believe wholeheartedly that all the doctors don't know about the cure. Of course, they couldn't do that. But I do believe that, yes, they have a cure. Why? Because they did something to cure that man. Oh, by the way, an AIDS diagnosis back in 1990, that wasn't one doctor. And this was Magic Johnson at the time, one of the highest paid NBA players at the time. Okay, ain't no way in the world he's going to get one diagnosis for HIV. Okay? Ain't no way in the world. Okay? So, several doctors said, hey, you got a problem. He listened to those doctors and he made an announcement, because why would you give up millions of dollars? Now, of course, he had health insurance. Of course, he had life insurance. Okay, but why would you give up that millions of dollar contract and you're not even at the point of retiring? And then what did he do? Now, remember, watch this. Excuse me. had to cough. You know, that's what happens when you got to do it. You can't stop yourself from coughing. Oh, I stop myself from coughing all the time. Yeah, right. Okay. Watch this. I do-do. I don't care if you do-do nothing. You can do-do all you want. All right. Let's see. What do you I don't want Johnson's. I want Magic Johnson's return to the NBA. Remember, he announced his immediate retirement. I don't want as a coach and player. 1994. Remember, the 1991-1992 season is when he retires, but returned to play in the 1992 All-Star game, winning the All-Star MVP award. Okay, understand, people. You need to get this. A disease that was taking people out in 2 years. The maximum extended lifetime you could get with HIV was 2 years. That's the maximum. With AIDS, it was 6 months. Okay, but what did he do? He got diagnosed with HIV, and the only way for him to get diagnosed is because he must have been showing symptoms. Okay, so how do you go from showing symptoms, which fatigue is one of those symptoms, because it attacks the kidney. So how do you go from showing symptoms to winning an All-Star game? Winning the MVP for that year. Because everybody was afraid to touch him. That's why he won. He could just score at will. Please. Remember his best friend, Isaiah Thomas, said, I ain't touching you. Okay, then you got this. Magic Johnson returns from retirement. But he retired because he had AIDS. Now, all of a sudden, he returned. Why did he return? Because he no longer had it. Okay, this is what they were saying in 1992. Some people are scared. This could be dangerous to us all. But you're dealing with Magic Johnson, so people are handling it with white gloves. Other than a statement welcoming Johnson's return, the NBA Commissioner David Stern has avoided public comment on the issue. Why? Because Magic Johnson makes a comeback in 1996. Why was there an issue? Ladies and gentlemen, this disease was killing people. And they didn't know, other than it was through bodily fluids, including blood, that you contacted. So how did he go from having it to 4 years later not having it? This is why people believe that there is a cure for the disease. And sorry, after giving it some logical thought, because I hadn't done it. I hadn't done it prior to this. See? Magic Johnson returns to the NBA after positive HIV test. Huh? Because he didn't have it anymore. Excuse me? What the? Exactly. So that's why you have people saying that there is a cure out there, but they're not releasing it to the main public. Ladies and gentlemen, it's raining pretty heavily outside. I believe we's getting a little bit of hail. That's interesting. Wasn't slated for getting a little bit of hail. Oh well. Yeah, got little white pebbles on the ground. This is interesting. But what a wonderful world this would be. All right, let's get back to it's California, you guys. You don't know what you're going to be getting in California, but you're going to be getting something. And we getting a little bit of hail. As I was telling you, from time to time, I just sit back and I start thinking. And I've been thinking, we have all of these people coming up with all of this paperwork and these papers to identify who they are. Ladies and gentlemen, I've always known you don't need a piece of paper to identify you. A piece of paper can't identify you. We already told you guys back in 2000 that that's how they label things. When they ship things, when they ship packages in commerce, that's how they label things. They label things by size, dimension, weight, height, color. They label things because It's commerce. Okay, but you all know this. I'm not saying anything new. You all are already aware of this. You all are already aware that they label things. Why do you need to be labeled? Now, again, as I said yesterday, this is not for all of you to sit up there and throw your IDs away because people tried that stuff. This is not for you to start telling the police, I don't need to tell you who I am. Okay, we don't want you. I don't need to tell you who I am to nobody. Excuse me? What do you need to know for? You don't need my ID to, if you're going to write me a ticket, write it, and I'll handle it through the court. But there is no law requiring me to give you ID. You want to know who I am? This is who I am. You want a name? Oh, well, my name is I am. Some people have actually done that, and that's worked for them. Or you can simply go, I'm me. Who are you? Okay? But again, I'm not telling people to do that. I'm telling the individuals who have a mindset to understand the difference between statute and federal law and constitutional law and legislative acts and regulations and ordinances and so-called, what's the other word for it? There's another one out there I'm missing. Nope, I think I got most of them. But anyway, but what's the difference between law and a suggestion or a company policy? Public policy is company policy, people. Just got to understand that. Public policy, company policy. Just got to understand that. And so if that is the case, when the Supreme Court said that look at how quickly the hell has gone away, y'all. It was just icy on the ground. Now it's clear, black asphalt. It just went away that quickly. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, the Supreme Court said that every citizen must carry ID, some form of identification. Then they told you what the form of identification should include. And then in order for you to travel, you must have identification. Okay? What I am saying, and I was saying this to myself, not to you guys, I'm just thinking out loud. Oh, for crying out loud! Okay? I'm just thinking out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, while I was thinking, I was saying to myself, wait a minute. The police, there is no law requiring you as a traveler to issue a piece of paper showing who you are. But if you have to issue a piece of paper showing who you are, why not you issue a piece of paper showing who you are and what your rights are without the description of weight, size, height, and all of that stuff? See, what people don't understand, and again, you have to do your research, because I'm only making a suggestion, hypothetically. What if when the police pulls a person over, they're doing an investigation? What if that's the reason why they turn on their lights? It's because they're investigating. What if that's the premise for their authority, is because they're operating as an investigator for a government agency, privately owned? What if that is the case? What if the fact that they're recording you is so that they can use that against you in the future? What if you say, oh no, I don't give you permission to record me? Excuse me? Oh, I don't give you permission to record me. Well, you're out in public. You can be recorded. No, I'm not out in public. I'm in my own private. I am minding my own private business. No, for me to be out in public, I'd have to be amongst the public. I'd have to be congregating with the public. I'd have to be assembling with the public to be out in public. But because, see, the word public means group. I'd have to be in a group. I'm not in a group. Well, your car is in traffic, so you're in a group. No, see, you don't understand. I'm in my car. So if you want to sit up there and question the car, you go right ahead. I'm going to sit here and watch this. You don't mind if I film this? Because this might make a good YouTube video. I probably will get 1 million hits in 1 week. So you go ahead and you see, I'm not telling you guys to do this. This is the games okay, I have to be clear. I am not telling you guys to do this or try this, because you're going to end up getting yourselves in trouble because you wouldn't know how to handle the idiots after that. What I'm trying to suggest is that maybe we've been looking at things the wrong way. Maybe we've been looking at this statutorily. We've been creating paperwork to overcome their paperwork when we didn't understand from the very beginning. They created the first presumption. And I'm suggesting by holding them up, especially, and I'm suggesting that we do research into this, not that we sit up here and start doing it, because that's irresponsible. Oh, you're an irresponsible. Okay, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, they asked for license and registration. First, as I told you guys, I've been telling you this since 2010, I do not have a driver's license. I don't need a driver's license. I don't drive commercially anymore. I stopped driving commercially a long time ago. We're almost going on 18 years. Was that the last time I drove a truck? 18 years ago? Yeah, I don't remember driving a truck. No. Yeah, the last truck I drove was, over 20 years ago now. At least that's my memory. But anyway, let's get back to this. Ladies and gentlemen, there was no law requiring you to have a license unless you are operating for hire or working for a company, conducting commerce or a business. Okay? So, when they ask me for a license, I just hand them an ID. I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, well, your license is expired, or your license is revoked, or your license is... I don't want to hear none of that. None of those things are the case with me, because I canceled my license. You canceled your... Don't worry about it. Okay? A long time ago, because I told you I don't drive commercially. I don't drive people for hire. I told you when I took the test, I'm one of those people who... I took a test and you had me signing a contract. I read it. I told you how I read my loan docs. I read whatever somebody was getting me to sign. Now, I just sign things now, y'all. I'm not lying. I don't look at the fine print or nothing. I just sign it, put my signature on the X, and if a problem comes up, I'd be like, excuse me? Oh, no, you didn't tell me that. Well, you signed a contract. Oh, yeah, I signed a lot of contracts. I sign contracts all day long. But see, the whole purpose in the contract is the person must knowingly understand that. Well, you signed right here. It says you understood it. No, I was just signing that piece of paper because you told me I couldn't get it without signing a piece of paper. Just like Google. You want to access the internet? You have to agree to their terms. You want to install a program on your computer? You want to agree to their terms. So, I agree in spirit, but I don't give up and waive a single right. Oh, no, no, no. Just so I can use a program, I'm not waiving no rights. Again, I can handle that. Can the rest of you? These are the things that I've been thinking about over the past 3 months or so. But it finally dawned on me that I could share some of this with some people. That's why I'm not looking to put this information out there for wide discussion with me. For you guys to discuss this amongst yourselves. If you come up with a solution, if you come up with something that you can prove actually works, then maybe. Oh, by the way, I got people who, oh, but why don't you tell the people this? And why don't you tell the people that? And why don't you tell the people this? Hold on. Hold on. No, hold on. Hold on. Watch this. How to set up a YouTube account. Create a channel with a business or other name. Sign into YouTube on a computer or using a mobile site. Go to your channel list, choose create a new channel or use an existing brand account. Fill out the details, your name, your channel name, and verify your account. There you go. How to create a YouTube account. If you want someone to sit up here and do a specific video about something, then you do it. If you want to comment about somebody's video, hey, look at this. You can get 42 million hits if you bring up the right subject. So go ahead, people, become a YouTube sensation, but not here on my channel. I don't operate that way. If that's what you want, here is how you do it. If you want to comment, here is how you do it, or you, watch this. Okay, you can create your own WordPress. You want to comment about somebody's video, knock yourself out. I mean, just knock yourself out. Wake up and knock yourself out again and just keep repeating. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. Pretend it's dominoes. Just keep knocking yourself out. Okay, some of you needed this information because you were having a difficult time trying to understand. Well, why won't he let us comment? He must be afraid. Ladies and gentlemen, you're right. I am afraid. I admit it. I am afraid. I'm afraid. I'm afraid. That's why my comments are off. I am afraid. If you say I'm afraid, I'm going to agree with you. I am afraid. I'm a B-frayed, I'm a C-frayed, and I'm a D-frayed too. I'm trying to be an E-frayed, an F-frayed, and a G-frayed, but H-frayed just keeps getting in the way, and I'm-frayed. Oh, God, he keeps hanging out with J and K-frayed, who lets L-M-O know, see, M-N-O, M, no, P-Q-R-S-T-frayed know that Y-Z and U-frayed don't like me. Okay, so I am afraid, and I'm going to keep being afraid. And so while I'm afraid, you go ahead and create your little blog or your YouTube channel, or go buy yourself a newspaper. Oh, wait, go buy yourself a television station. No, wait, go buy yourself a movie studio. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I hear Pixar is for sale. Go and buy yourself your own studio, and then you can create and you can sit up there and post your comments however you want. You can only get this advice here on this channel. So if you want advice on how you can comment on people's videos, then you just received it. Just follow that advice. And if you ever want to get that advice again, just come back and watch this segment of the video again. And that way you can go and do whatever you can go and do whatever you want. There is one more thing, ladies and gentlemen. Had to cough again. It's springtime. I go through this every spring. Can't help it. It's just the weather, the air. Oh, God, I keep messing up. Okay. Tender of payment, ladies and gentlemen. We keep showing this to you. You need to understand what a tender of payment is. It is not a payment. That's a misnomer. A tender is an offer, okay? An unconditional offer, so you can't put any conditions on it, like payable on demand, and payable this, and payable that, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and for EFT only, and for discharge, and for this, and for that. You can't do all of that limitation stuff. It has to be unconditional. Unconditional love. Okay, it has to be unconditional by a debtor or an obligator to pay another in current coin of the realm. This is additional junk. This is not the original. This ain't, pay attention. UCC section 3604 does not say no current coin of the realm. Okay, let's get the real definition. If tender of payment of an obligation to pay an instrument is made to a person entitled to enforce an instrument, the effect of the tender is governed by the principles of law applicable to tender of payment under a simple contract. So, ladies and gentlemen, just understand tender of payment is just an offer. Look and notice what it says. A tender of payment may save the tendering party from penalties for non-payment if the other party refuses tender without just cause. That's what this stuff says, 603 and 604. That's right there, see, 603, 604, blah, 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 blah. But you see, this says the knowledge bank, and this is their junk. Okay? Tender of payment don't say that. Okay? So, because we've given this to people, now you need to understand this is why the hour style money orders work. This is why people's promissory notes work. This is why the A for V process worked. The person said accepted for value. And they returned for value. They gave a tender offer. Okay? Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? See, this thing is, what is tender payment? Nobody asked for tender payment. See, tender of payment is a definition of a legal term. This is all one word. This is not 3 words, people. And that's the problem with people not understanding legal term and legal terminology. And don't worry about it. I didn't get it at first. I honestly didn't. At first, man, that didn't make any sense. What type of sense does that? That's stupid. Okay, but this is the way their administrative system operates. So how do you get around this? Simply by understanding what tender of payment is. So the best definition for tender of payment is this one right here. This is my boy Teddy Pendergrass, and he's singing, lifting him up higher. What is tender of payment? An offer that is without conditions to pay a debt that is in lieu of actual payment. So a tender of payment is not an actual payment. Okay, do you guys understand this now? Is it clearer to you? Okay? Is it clearer to you? I hope so. So once you get this, on all of your debt, tender of payment, people. Now, I don't ask me about rent, because right now I'm going to suggest you do this only with companies. I'm definitely not suggesting that you do this with your landlord, because you're going to be talking about, well, there's 4 of us. There's me, my husband, and my doggy, and my son. What you mean my husband can't stay here? What you mean this is not a family shelter? What? What you mean nobody told me to give my landlord a piece of paper talking about tender payment for rent for the next 18 years? Nobody, what you mean nobody? I was just tendering payment like that man said on the video. Okay, many of you guys, and I'm talking to you, many of you guys decide you're going to sit up here and just do things because you're desperate. Ladies and gentlemen, you do stuff because you're desperate, you're going to end up getting yourself in some doing stuff because I'm desperate trouble. And then you're going to be looking for somebody to get you out of that trouble. Then you're going to try to contact somebody like me. Please understand, I'm not putting my life on hold for any of you. I'm not going to rush to get something done just because you're in a bind. That's not going to happen. When I tell you all that I am helping someone else and that I'm not working on any other people's projects right now, that's what I mean. So stop asking me. You're really getting on my nerves. And if you think I'm going to respond back to you, I'm not. Because when I tell you don't do it and you do it anyway, that means you're not listening to me, which means you don't respect me. And if you don't respect me, that means that I don't respect you. Do you get it? Yeah, see, when you disrespect me by saying, well, I know he said don't do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So when you make that executive decision, then you suffer the consequences of the executive. You must go down with the ship. Showed you that ship of Titanic earlier. So you must go down with your ship. So you want to sit up here and ignore me when it comes to me? I ain't got no problem with that. Hey guys, we took up 38 minutes, 51 seconds of your time, 39 minutes, and we're going to let y'all go. Have a good day, everyone.